Let's talk about more about Jobs to be Done interviews. We're doing a ton of them this week, so here's 3 more things that are important in terms of doing the interviews and what to expect from them. Good morning. It's Tuesday. One of the big things about the Jobs to be Done interviews, one of the big things I think a lot of people want to do as soon as you hear about this is let's start interviewing. And I was even like this. So Ryan Singer from Basecamp is doing these interviews. He's leading these interviews first because he's the expert at them. And so when I was talking to him, it was like, okay, well, as soon as we met up, I was like, let's start inviting people. And he's like, whoa, no, like, let's bring it back. What is your goal for these things? Oh, I think there's some drama brewing in the car this morning. We are on our way to base camp, and Lynette just said, what did you just say? In kind of a snarky way. I mean, what was that?
What?
What did you say?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna get you. So
I said, let's talk about how differently we can introduce these videos.
I'm not in love with it either. I've been trying, so these videos, I usually introduce them. It's been a going on thing now, at least for a few weeks, where I'm just like, I open up each daily vlog with, let's talk about X. Does Lynette not like this?
No, it's totally fine, except we happen to hear the videos over and over, so we hear let's talk about like 10 times a day.
We do. So yeah, it's a little bit more annoying for us than maybe it is for you.
Then hopefully it is for you.
Yeah, like I hopefully you like the way I'm doing these videos. If you don't, please let me know. Maybe privately, to protect my feelings publicly. I think it's important to realize what you're trying to achieve with these Job to be Done interviews. For us at Highrise, churn and unhappiness with the product actually isn't our biggest problem. It isn't the problem we're trying to solve. Once people find out about Highrise, they actually really like it. We keep hearing so many awesome things about Highrise. Our problem is there's not enough people finding Highrise. Highrise has been around for so long, we kind of have a relevancy problem again. It's hard to stand out in an industry where there are so many other CRMs, and there's so many newer products. There's all these shiny new things. How do we get people to know we exist again? I've stopped really trying to decide beforehand what I think the day should be about, and I instead, when I'm editing, decide what the day was about. That way, like, it's less stressful for me to try and, like, shoehorn the day into something it's not, and it allows me to kind of like look for what was actually interesting during the day, and if there was something interesting, I can just kind of go with it versus like predetermining what the day is really going to be about, because I don't know, our days always are so different. I can't really predict what's going to happen. If churn were our problem, we would probably do a lot of exit interviews, interview customers who are quitting. And that's a whole different kind of animal. I mean, it's totally doable, but it's a different kind of interview where you're trying to figure out why they hired your product in the first place and then why they fired you. Lynette asks, like, what do you do when the day isn't interesting? Well, that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Is a day ever... Yeah, I'm saying interesting too many times. Is a day really never not interesting?
Well, you had one the other day where you were sort of questioning, what am I going to put in here?
Because I didn't get outside the house. And that's like the fault of mine. It's not like a fault of the day. It's a fault of me not exploring the day properly. Right? There's always probably something interesting. A beautiful photo or something, right?
True.
So for us, we just really wanted to, and we're spending so much time in the hiring process. Like, what was their problem that they were searching for that was bothering them so much that they bothered searching for a product like Highrise? Where they found us? What were we stacked up against? How did they compare us? Who did they, share us with to make these decisions? We spend so much time just on that part because that's the important part we really need to figure out and get some insight from. Going on. They're building the McDonald's new headquarters right over there. First customer interview coming up. Kind of excited about these.
It's good. Oh, this is a nice room. I never use this room.
I know. This is
room,
like my
yeah.
favorite room. And the light comes in.
Oh,
it's
man,
really
it's
nice for
beautiful,
photography and stuff.
Yeah, we should record everything.
Okay. Do you have a good tool for that? You just record it with a microphone, like.
I normally just record with I just open up QuickTime and
Okay.
record it.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Sure. QuickTime Player.
And then you can just do file new audio recording. Hi, Lynette.
How are you?
Good.
Another really interesting part of that I've been kind of learning this week is just how important it is even just to kind of open up the interview. And Ryan, he just kind of follows a script that he got from Bob Modesta and Chris at the Rewire Group, who do this so well.
So basically what we're doing here is some very kind of early stage research, and we're just trying to get a very kind of rough sense of what happens when people, like what's going on at work when people start looking for something like high rise, what's kind of going, like why do they need something, what are they hoping it to do for them, kind of what are the words that they use, and we're just trying to, we can sort of think of it like a documentary where we're kind of looking at what's the storyline, you know, from this to that sort of led up to getting high rise. Does that sound?
Okay.
And you know, we're kind of like looking for. We might ask you funny questions once in a while, you know, like details about where were you, or was it nighttime or daytime, and that's just to help us kind of really get into that documentary and set the scene so we can sort of see how the story unfolded. Does that sound all right?
Today's interviews are over. Time to, I gotta get home soon. Man, we only had 2 interviews today, and I feel kind of exhausted from doing interviews. Tomorrow is 3, maybe 4. I think a big thing that we learned from these jobs to be done interviews is just how much practice they require. Like, I feel like I'm a little bit more well versed than a bunch of people now, just from studying it for years and now like actively doing these interviews. And I feel like I still kind of suck. Third thing that really kind of was interesting to me about the interviews is something that dawned on me about me as a person. I constantly want to make people happy, right? And that's, I think, all of us building products, that is in us. Like, we're constantly trying to make other people happy by building these products for them. We want them to be excited. So here we are talking to happy customers, but then immediately I hear things where I'm like, you know what? How can we make them happier? Like, what is something else that can just kind of level up? And Ryan reminded me today, and it was kind of interesting and maybe a little controversial for some people, but it was just like, we've already won them as customers. If you start spending more time on like continuing to make them happier, you almost run the risk of like just doing the exact opposite of that, adding more junk. And that's a very kind of strong line. I mean, I do recognize some of the things that people like, we can still do a lot better and improve, and that's fine. We're not going to not touch the product. But it points to priorities, and it points to focus, and it points to getting all this data should get my mind working on not so much, you know, how to continue working on the product, but again, how do we find more of these people and communicate with them like, hey, we've actually got this really awesome thing already. And so it was a great day too. We only did another couple interviews today, and there's a bunch more coming this week. So please stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more interesting insight and tips. Are you eating good? The audience, the fans at home don't need to see your food.
Why do we only have one fan?
Do we only have one fan? Who's our fan?
Why do I only have one?
Oh, the fan up there? Up there? And if you dig these videos, please hit that thumbs up. I really could use it. Any share, any like would be so helpful for this channel to grow. And I upload a new video every single day about business and marketing and product design, and even just trying to get through life with this crazy family of mine. And I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.